Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, my 2025 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles campaign that is being run with Feng Shui. And man, is it cool. So Feng Shui. So basically, Feng Shui 2, the Feng Shui 2 rule set. Very, very cool. I'm absolutely loving this system. And we pick up with Casey Jones has just told um, Raphael that he has been using the Dragon's Shadow. The Dragon's Shadow is a super magical scroll which teaches forbidden kung fu, right? And basically it was lost 6 months ago when the brothers Donatello and Michelangelo, Leonardo and Raphael all fought together to secure it with Master Splinter, and it fell into a precipice, which is actually an abandoned building in New York City. And they went down and they all searched for it and they couldn't find it. But Casey Jones took it, and then he started studying it himself. And Raphael solved the mystery that the dragon shadow scroll that Master Splinter was desperately trying to find actually was not lost, but was in the possession of Casey Jones. So he confronted Casey Jones and said, you have to return this to Master Splinter. So then Casey Jones said, okay, 24 hours from now, I will meet you right here in this warehouse on 22nd Street, and I will give you the scroll. So then it was actually a session break. So that was session 1, and then now I'm recapping session 2, right? And so I was very tempted to be like, oh, I want this, I want there to be like this temptation for Raphael to learn from the scroll, right? But Raphael was like, the gold player, right? The gold player has already told me, I actually want to learn everything Master Splinter and actually take over leadership of the group, right? He's not attempting to displace Leonardo, but he actually wants to learn everything Master Splinter has, and he wants to honor Master Splinter's teaching. He wants to be the best Raphael he can. So I know that this temptation is not going to work, so I'm not going to go down that road. So I was really tempted to be like, oh, between the 24 hours, something happens, and the Dragon Shadow is stolen, and now Casey doesn't happen, and the adventures, you have to find it, right? But I really want to encourage you, right? Like, a lot of times, don't do the predictable thing, right? Like, this is why we tell stories using tabletop role-playing games inspired by. This is why we tell stories using Dungeons and Dragons' greatest competitors, and Feng Shui 2 is one of Dungeons and Dragons' greatest competitors. So I was like, okay, you know what? Before the 24 hours even comes up, 16 hours later, Casey Jones shows up at the sewer layer where all the turtles is and says, I want to turn this over, right? And so Raphael goes out to meet him and cuts him off, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go back in. I'm just going to spend 15 minutes in there, and then you come in and then return it to Master Splinter, right? And so he does this, and this was really interesting. So Casey Jones has already been exiled from the group for 3 months until the Fire Leafs fall, because he screwed up the Turtles' ability to order from the best pizza place in New York City, Antonio's, right? So he's on the outs, and Master Splinter is very angry with him and has literally exiled him from the company of none of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are allowed to talk to him. So at this point, I'm thinking as the Feng Shui 2 game master, which is an action movie recreation system, right? And actually, it has its own world as well, but that's a different discussion. But basically, I'm like, hey, this is, what's going down with this. Sorry. So I'm thinking, okay, he's going to return this, and my point is, Casey Jones is in a lot of danger. He's using this evil scroll to learn evil kung fu, and it's going to darken him as a person, right? So he's in danger. But what's interesting is the gold player, didn't really see it that way. He's like, oh, he can return this, And he can lie and say, I found it, and then that's going to get him back into Master Splinter's good graces. And he wasn't going to lie outright. He was just going to admit that he took it, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that was what you were expecting Casey to do. I was like, hey, I want you to back this up, right? If you do that, Casey's still in danger, because Casey already has strength and speed from the scroll that he didn't earn, right? And he is also, and there's a possibility he learned some of the forms from the scrolls, right? So he's in literal dangerous, right? So are you sure you want to do this? And I love this. So the player character, the player said, I'm going to make this decision randomly, right? I'm going to roll a d6, and if it's 1 to 3, I'm going to do the right thing and tell Master Splinter the truth. If I roll a 4 to 6, I'm going to try to get Casey back into good graces by encouraging him to just return the scroll, and don't tell Master Splinter how Casey took it. That way, Casey can be returned to the company of this because he's a friend and he wants to fix this problem for him. Really fascinating, right? So he makes the roll, and it turns out that he's going to encourage Casey to tell the truth, right? And so then he makes a persuasion check, right, against Casey, and he fails it. So Casey says, Master Splinter, I stole this, right? And so everybody's shocked. All the turtles are shocked, except for Raphael, who acts shocked because he secretly snuck out and talked to Casey, and he doesn't want Master Splinter to know this. So then he's like, okay. So then the Master Splinter is like, okay, you just returned this to me. You were super wrong to take this, and it was outrageously dangerous that you did this. But you are not one of my sons, Casey Jones, but you are a friend. And I abandoned you because I was upset about not being able to get my favorite pizza, and I'm still upset about that, but you're in danger, and I'm going to help you, all right? So one, you are no longer exiled from the company of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For returning the scroll, you are restored to our company, right? Now, at this point, we have to deal with this dangerous scroll. So immediately, Leonardo and Raphael go out to the construction sites and get me a long black pipe that's about 1/4 inch thick steel, and bring it down here. It needs to be about 20 feet long, right? And then he says, and then Donatello and Michelangelo, I want you guys to go choose 4 of my scrolls. So they bring all this back, right? Leonardo cuts it's not a sewer pipe. It's just a clean steel pipe. Master Splinter tells him, with your katanas, cut this up into 1.5 foot sections. And so what he does is, and then he tells Donatello, cap these off and weld them, right? And so what Master Splinter does is he secretly puts in 4 of his own non-magical scrolls, and then he puts in the 1 magical scroll into these steel cases, which are all black and now sealed, right? So now you have 5 containers, each containing a scroll. One of them is super dangerous and super magical. The other ones are just super valuable because they're old scrolls from the old world, but they're not magical, right? But this shows how serious Master Splinter is about this, right? And so because he's giving up 4 of his own scrolls, right, which he did quests and paid a lot of money to find, right? He gave up resources for these scrolls, and these are old kung fu and karate and scrolls that show the old katas in the original form, right? So at this point, and then he takes this like circular table and he spins them in the sewer layer, and he turns his back and he says, I'm not going to look, right? And he says, each one of the brothers and you, Casey, take one of the sealed scrolls, right? Now they've spun it, and no one knows which of the scrolls is the real magical scroll and which of the other ones are just the valuable scrolls, that the 4 valuable scrolls that Master Splinter is forfeiting, right? And he says, okay, now, and then he turns around, and each of the brothers is holding a sealed steel container, right, that's been sealed by Donatello, that, and one of them contains a super magical scroll, and then the rest contain valuable scrolls but not magical, right? He says, okay, you must go, you each have 24 hours, you must go and hide these in the 5 bureaus, and then you are sworn to secrecy. You cannot tell any of your other brothers or Casey, and you cannot tell me. The location of the dragon's shadow, this evil scroll, must never be known by any of us. And since none of us know which container has the magical scroll, we don't even know, none of us will even know the location of where the magical scroll is, right? And so then he dispatches them, and Raphael makes a kind of a luck roll, and he gets to choose, and he's like, I'm definitely not going to the, and, oh, by the way, if you don't know what the 5 boroughs of New York are, I know them by heart. Not because I've been to New York 20 times, but because I needed to learn the 5 boroughs for a Marvel tabletop role-playing game and for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tabletop role-playing game. So I know the 5 boroughs. It's Manhattan, Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn, and Staten Island. And so Raphael's like, I ain't going to Staten Island. And he takes the Bronx because it's the most dangerous, and that is super dope. And he got an advancement roll for that, which he failed. And so I'm going to wrap it here. Thank you so much for letting me share these recaps with you. This is one of my favorite things I do on my channel. I absolutely love it. Thank you for letting me share this with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part, nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.